Time to push our luck with the YouTube copyright system because we're once again asking for toys from a brand new Disney Plus show. Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony. Now this week The Acolyte came to an end and we've got a whole bunch of new characters added to Star Wars, which means I want new characters added to my Black Series collection. Now so far from what I can tell, the Acolyte line of the Black Series is doing really well. There are some great figures. There's been a brilliant new initiative of including soft goods robes with Jedi characters, which is already starting to bleed out into the rest of the Black Series, with that Duel of the Fates 3-pack coming with soft goods robes as well. There have been some updates to the old tried and true Jedi body to make them way more versatile, way more posable, and I am very happy about that. So with all that in mind, it is once again time to talk about characters from this new series that I would like to see come to the Black Series. So that's what we're doing on this week's installment of the Wishlist series. We're talking about everything Acolyte. This line is obviously still very much in its early days, which gives me a lot of opportunities to make really cheap, easy to come true predictions. But with all that said, as per usual with this series, we're not talking about big vehicles, we're not talking about HasLabs, we're just talking about regular line figures and deluxe figures that I would like to see come to this line from this show. Before we get started, I don't usually do this, but I also don't usually talk about something as new as this is. I mean, the series finale literally just came out, so the majority of my content is filmed from I'm going to assume you've already seen this perspective, but just in case you haven't, there will be spoilers on this wish list, so if that's something that you care about, I'm just giving you the heads up. There's my responsible YouTube content creator moment there. So let's not waste any time, let's get into some honorable mentions. For my first honorable mention, I would like to see Basil come to the line. Everyone's favorite little hamster-faced tracker dude. I just thought this guy was brilliant and I would love to get an action figure of him. I don't know if he would justify his own release or maybe he could come with a twin pack with somebody else, but either way, I want this guy on my shelf because he is very cool. And for my final honorable mention, I would like to get the final outfits worn by May and Osha at the end of the series. Obviously, they kind of swap outfits and they kind of swap roles as the series goes on, and that's what I would like to capture on my shelf. Now, I feel like this has a really high chance of happening because the May that they've already released has gone to the effort of saying it's Assassin May on the box, which suggests there will be more Mays in the future. So maybe civilian uniform May will come in, and that means we'll get what I really want, which is the Dark Side Osha. I would love to get that on my shelf. That's a great outfit, and thematically for where the show seems to be going, I think it's a great choice. So I would like to get both of them, but predominantly I'd like to get Osha's final outfit. Honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the list itself. Coming in at number 5, we have Venestra Rowe. Now, I haven't met Venestra yet in my High Republic reading because I'm a very slow reader, and the fact that books are coming out that take place before books that have already come out always kind of throws me off and makes me think, well, maybe I should read that one first and wait to read this one. Long story short, I just haven't met her yet, but what I've seen of her in this series, I really like. She seems like a great Jedi who wants the Jedi to be better character. She's very much the bridge between the Jedi as heroes that we see in the High Republic and the Jedi as not quite as heroic as they maybe should be that we see in the prequel trilogy. She's very much the bridge that connects those two eras of the Jedi Order, and I really appreciate that. But more to the point, I think this would be an absolutely brilliant figure because of all the great advancements that they've made with the Jedi mold. Perfect time to bring Venestra in. Now, she has multiple appearances through the series, and I think I'm leaning more towards her temple appearance than the mission robes that she wears when she goes out to try and track down and figure out what's going on. And I say that because the rest of the Jedi that we've already seen in the Acolyte line have all come in their mission robes, and I would like to get something to kind of differentiate them from Venestra, make it seem like she's a bigger deal than those characters are, and I feel like putting her in her temple robes is a good way of doing that. The whites and the golds making her appear more regal than the browns and the golds that you see in the mission robes. So obviously, a highly articulated figure, that would be really great because it would pull some great fighting moves, but we've got to get her a weapon in the box as well, and Venestra would be lost without her light whip, so I don't know how I would go about capturing that. I don't think we've done whips yet in the Black Series, so I wouldn't mind if they included multiple options, like you've got her lightsaber hilt, and then you've got two different blades, one that's just a generic lightsaber blade, and one that maybe is a light whip blade, which is in a kind of an arced shape, so it looks like it's being wielded. I don't think I want a soft, posable blade, because I feel like it wouldn't capture the lightsaber the way that I'm accustomed to the lightsaber being captured in the Black Series. I would rather it looked right and just didn't move than have it look wrong and be posable. I know people probably go in for a posable lightsaber blade, but I would prefer to just have the whip be in a solid position that you can just put her in her hand and have her wielding it. I think that would look great. But yeah, Vernestra is an easy pick for number 5. At number 4, we have Kelnaka, the Wookiee Jedi. I love this guy. I feel like this would be an absolutely brilliant figure, because we've already got some killer Wookiee molds in the line, so why not just slap some Jedi robes on it and make it be really, really cool? With that being said, I think I would go for a new molded plastic torso to have the robes on it, rather than just having a Wookiee figure with some soft goods robes on top. He's got to fit in with the other Acolyte Jedi figures, and that means hard plastic robes with a soft good cloak over the top. So that's what I would like to see for Kelnaka. I'd like to see him in his robes, but not in such a way that makes him stick out like a sore thumb. I feel like if the rest of the Jedi all had plastic robes and a soft goods cloak, and then here comes the Kelnaka figure and it's just a Zalbar figure with a soft goods everything on top of it, I don't think that would work. I feel like it's got to be a remolded torso component with a soft goods robe over the top. That I think would work really, really well. And of course, you've got to have the lightsaber in the box, but I'm really sticking my neck out here and saying we have to capture the size of this lightsaber really, really well, because I feel like when Jeki picked it up, you really got a sense of how much bigger this lightsaber was than your standard one, because he's a Wookiee. This guy's like a 8-foot tall, hairy monster. Of course, his lightsaber's not going to be a piddly little human one. Maybe they could go all in and include the longer lightsaber blade from the Darth Malgus figure. I would go for that. That would be brilliant. But Kelnaka would be an absolutely incredible figure. So easy pick for number 4. At number 3, we are really getting into spoiler territory here, so I will warn you one last time that if you haven't seen it, skip ahead to number 2, because at number 3, we're talking about Darth Plagueis. We finally got the Sith Master of Darth Sidious in live action, and I want a Black Series figure of him. Now, there was already a great Plagueis figure back in 2013, what came up back when they were slapping the Black Series on everything. It was a little 3 3/4 inch scale figure, but it was awesome. And finally getting to see what this character that you've read about looks like was life-changing for me. And I want to get that again. I want to get this really tall, incredibly sinister-looking figure. I've looked at that original Plagueis figure, and really all I want you to do is scale it up and do it again. Like, just scale him up and do it again, and I will be very, very happy. We've done incredibly tall characters in the Black Series before. We've done Snoke, we've done Wookiees. I don't know if we've ever done someone who is as tall as Darth Plagueis is, but he is very, very tall as a mutant character. And you've really got to capture that in the figure. The original figure did a really good job of capturing how gaunt and lanky he is. Like, his incredibly long limbs, his incredibly long fingers. I would really love to capture that in the Black Series. I feel like it would be one of the best figures they ever did. The Black Series does an incredible job with aliens, and this one I feel like could just be so, so creepy. Like, it has to feel scary. This is like horror Star Wars as far as I'm concerned. Like, make him look really sinister. We only got like one brief glimpse of him in the show, but already he's been introduced as an incredibly sinister figure. I just want to capture that on my shelf. As far as the accessories go, literally just take the template of that original 2013 figure and do it again. Give him his lightsaber, give him that little breather. If you want to include that little plastic tunic that he had as well, go for it. I would like to see a much more refined soft goods robe, because that one always felt kind of floaty and kind of sticky out. We've done better robes now, so give him a proper Sith robe. And I believe the original figure also came with some kind of staff. Include that as well. Just stick it in the box as well. If nothing else, it'll be a great reference to an earlier Hasbro figure, and they do like to do that sometimes. So Darth Plagueis comes in at number 3. At number 2, we have Mother Coral. Now, I kind of went back and forth on it because I wanted to include a witch character on my wish list, but I didn't know which one to go for. Like, do I do Mother Anastasia? Do I do one of the other ones? But really, it's Mother Coral is the one that I want because she's got that great Zabrak head sculpt. A female Zabrak head sculpt, no less. That would be awesome. Like, you could really capture those horns and those brilliant designs in her skin with just a great mold and then a dark wash over the top to really bring out the details. I think that would be fantastic. I'd like to see her robes kind of mirroring the way they did May's, because I feel like that's kind of the point. That's why May was dressing like that. She was doing it to kind of honor her heritage and honor where she'd come from. So we've got to create a kind of interconnectivity between the figures. She was my favorite design out of all the witches, and she's got those brilliant robes that could be really easily captured with some great soft goods work. And it's another alien head sculpt, something that the Black Series does so well. So this is an easy pick for me. Just really nail those soft goods robes. Give her a kind of an ethereal appearance, like the kind of thing we talked about back when we were talking about Mother Talzin on the Clone Wars list. Like, these witches have a sense of being there but not being there. Like, they could disappear at any time. And the last time we saw Mother Coral, she was exploding into black smoke. I think a mix of soft good and plastic in the robes would really capture that, and then just stick her in the box with her spear and I will buy her in a heartbeat. Mother Coral is an easy pick for number 2. Fight me! But the number 1 character from The Acolyte that I would like to see come to the Black Series should have been obvious from when we started. It's Chimere the Stranger. This was my favorite character from the entire series. I absolutely loved this guy and what he represents for a new perspective on the Sith. I almost want to say I want this figure to be deluxe because I want it to come with everything that I want it to come with, you know? I want it to feel like a real complete and cohesive figure that has got everything that you wanted. Like back in the good old days when the Black Series figures would come with everything you needed to make whatever version of that character you wanted to display. That's what I want to see with Chimere. I think to really capture the different materials of his outfit, we're going to have to cross soft goods with hard plastic again, because it's the only way to really capture that kind of leather look that he has to his outer robes, while also not losing the flowing nature of his undertunic. So I think a soft goods tunic with maybe like a rubbery plastic overlay that you can kind of slot over the top, because his outer robe is very flat and featureless and it just kind of hangs off his shoulders without really creating much of a ripple effect. So if you use the soft goods for the stuff underneath and then just have that for an optional overlay over the top, you can create both the standing in the background looking menacing appearance and then remove that upper robe to have his serious Sith guns out warrior appearance to go with it. For the lightsaber brackets, lightsabers, I would like to see lots of options. We did this with the Reva figure back when Kenobi came out, but I'd like to see maybe 2 variants of his lightsaber. One that's got just the full-blown hilt with the full blade, and then maybe one with a shorter hilt so you can also have his Shoto blade as well. I feel like that would be really great. And it's got to have the helmet. I think as strong of an advocate for removable helmets as I am, I feel like this one has to be an alternate head deal, because I don't know if Chimere's hairstyle could fit inside of a removable helmet. So do an alternate head, maybe even have like... There was an SH Figure Arts Kylo Ren a while back that had an additional hand in the box which was holding his helmet. Maybe you could do that. Like maybe you could have like his face out, his helmet off, and also include this hand that can hold his helmet down by his side, because he does that a lot too. I just wanted this figure to be the best one that they did because he's my favorite character from the series. I never get tired of talking about him. The Stranger is the number 1 character from The Acolyte that I would love to see come to this line.
We make a great team.
So there you have it. That was 5 characters from The Acolyte that I would love to see come to the Black Series. So let me pass this subject off to you. What are some characters from this series that you would like to see come to the line? I am already regretting my decision to not just go out and pre-order all of these, because now I'm having a really hard time tracking any of them down. But I feel like if the Acolyte line is going to be anything like the Mandalorian line in the Black Series, I'll have plenty of opportunities to pick up these characters. So yeah, let me know down below which of these characters you'd like to see come to the line, and I will get back to each and every one of you. Next week we should hopefully be done with our full-blown Acolyte review. I'm kind of hopeful that we'll get it done. It might end up not happening, so I might have to come up with another video on the trot to try and keep things going while we work on that, because I want it to be a really good video. Like, I want to put a lot of work into it. So maybe it'll be next week, maybe we'll be talking about something else. We'll see. I have a great track record of sticking to the video that I preview in the previous week. I really do. It's a skill of mine. In the meantime, however, I've been Grand Moff Tony. Those were my top 5 Black Series wishlist picks for The Acolyte. You may subscribe when ready.